Spoilers for Puppet Game. And trust me, you don't want this spoiled. Also, this video might talk about some disturbing stuff. So be warned. I really like Puppet Game, and I've never seen anyone else talk about it on YouTube before, so here we are. Puppet Game was a series made by the YouTube channel Scary Storytime with Liam. If the admittedly cheesy name didn't give it away, his videos were just narration, kinda like an audiobook. Meaning, if you wanted to enjoy his content, you needed two things: a creative imagination and a lot of patience. Thankfully, I am blessed with both. Liam has a lot of long-running series on his channel, and Puppet Game was the first one that grabbed my eye. And a funny story, there's actually an order in which you're supposed to watch them in, and Puppet Game goes last, so yeah. In the video's title, it was said to be a sci-fi horror, so naturally, I assumed the sci-fi would be less prominent than the horror. I was expecting it to be similar to Coraline, but it wasn't that. I can best describe it as a cross between Hunger Games and, I don't know, Lego Dimensions. Still with me? Alright, let's get into it. So the first character we're introduced to is a girl named Lily. So far, what I was expecting. Then we get introduced to her older brother, John. At this point, I realized John was the main character, not Lily. Which to me meant one thing: something very bad was going to happen to Lily. Next up, we get introduced to splices. Splices are an unexplained phenomenon that happens at random. It's pretty much a giant cosmic explosion that doesn't create fire or smoke. These splice thingies happen so much that someone invented an AI capable of detecting them. This AI, Sam's, resides within these contact lenses that everyone wears. So next, John and Lily go to school, and we meet John's friends, Sarah and Max. Rule number 1 of any Stowell story is don't get too attached to any of the side characters. And I mean any. While at school, a splice goes off and John gets stuck in an elevator like the idiot that he is. Lily, Sarah, and Max are safe in the safe room. Or are they? Whoa, spooky. While John is lost, he begins receiving messages from a mysterious individual. The strangest part is that they're contacting him through Sam's. The stranger helps John escape and guides him through the destruction. And eventually, he encounters this odd person. It was a girl named Mally, but not an ordinary girl. She's like, how do I explain? A cross between an AI and a ghost. She's also one of my favorite characters in the series. Mally explains to John that there is a contest in this... Wait, read it wrong. Mally explains to John that she's a contestant in this tournament. I don't think the tournament has a name, but I'm just going to call it the Puppet Games. Okay, this is when it gets really weird. Get ready for a lot of exposition. There are an even number of contestants, and 2 of them are paired together. They're all sent down to complete a task. Whoever completes it first wins immunity. Before I explain what immunity is, most of the contestants in the Puppet Games are monsters, like shapeshifters and sirens and stuff, and each contestant is from a parallel universe. The games are hosted by Ponder, an evil shape-shifting robot bunny puppet thing. Ponder can duplicate himself, and the contestants are forced to wear the duplicates on their hands. These spikes stab into their arms, preventing them from taking the puppets off. The only way to lose is to die. Sometimes the contestants have to kill each other. Oh, and remember splices? Ponder is responsible for those. Splices are created when someone travels from one universe to another. And this probably isn't a surprise, but when someone dies, Ponder blows up their Earth with a bunch of splices. Oh, and all the contestants are main characters. That probably made no sense, but let me explain some more. Basically, every universe has a main character. That one guy or gal who's immune to everything. Ponder just thought, hey, if they're so immune, what happens if I make them fight each other? Now to explain immunity. Remember how earlier I said sometimes contestants are tasked with killing each other? Well, because of that, at most, one contestant is killed each round. And to keep things even before the next round, a contestant is voted off. Ponder is broadcasting all the events of the contest to all the homeworlds of the contestants. That was a mouthful. And the viewers have to vote on which character they like the most. The least popular character is executed. Immunity just prevents you from being eligible for elimination. The votes were actually submitted by Liam's viewers in real life. Ponder likes to break the fourth wall a lot. Back to the plot. So Mally and her partner were tasked with killing John, who was his universe's main character. Now Mally's partner was a shapeshifter named Ava. Ava had infiltrated the school disguised as Sarah. It is said that the real Sarah is dead. I don't know when Ava took Sarah's place, since it's implied Sarah was already dead the moment we first saw her. But then why didn't Ava just kill John earlier? At the beginning of this video I said things could get disturbing. This next part is mainly what I was talking about. This, I think, is hands down the scariest thing I've seen on this channel. Ava kills Max, and then grabs Lily and squeezes her eye till it pops out of its socket and lands on the floor. Real quick, remember those contact lenses? They can act as cameras and send live feeds and stuff. Ava forces a girl named Penny to watch her torture Lily so she can send the transmission to John. As you know, Ava and Miley's goal is to kill John, so Ava tells John she'll keep torturing Lily unless John kills himself. John hesitates and Ava plucks out Lily's other eye. John begged Ava to stop, but it was pointless. Then John seemingly stabs himself with a metal pole and dies. Ava is surprised. She didn't expect him to actually do it. But wait, he didn't do it. He stabbed himself, but not in a fatal spot. While Ava was distracted, he stabbed her in the throat with the metal pole, and her whole head was torn off. The only way for a shapeshifter to die is if its head is removed. John didn't know this, he just got lucky. Now, I think this moment is scariest for two reasons. One, the gruesome details involving what happens to Lily, and two, imagine being in this situation. Having to choose between yourself and a loved one, that's horrifying. Once Ava dies, her puppet detaches from her hand. Mally tricks John into putting on the puppet, and so he becomes Ava's replacement. John and Mally are sent to Ponder's lair. There, we're introduced to the rest of our main characters. Many of the contestants are actually characters used in earlier series on the channel, like Callie from the Design series, Cold from A Cold Love Story, and Yellow Halogen from, Yellow Halogen. There's also some characters not from past series, like Sketch, Dorguy, and Mally. And also Sarah! This Sarah is an alternate universe doppelganger to John's deceased friend. Cold is also a Sarah. She had to be nicknamed Cold to make things less confusing. I'm going to end my synopsis of the story here. The rest of this video will focus mostly on the characters themselves. Let's start with Halogen. Halogen dies very early on. That's about it. We don't really learn all that much about her personality. In the Yellow Halogen series, she was the queen of the sirens. I also think she was meant to be like a misunderstood hero, and not a villain. But in PuppetGame, she dies and that's about it. Now let's do Mally. Initially, I didn't like her. I thought her personality was generic. She's like the shy girl. And when Liam described her, I imagined her to look really gross. But then I saw what she looked like and thought, wait, no, she shouldn't be cute. But eventually, I slowly realized that she and I have a lot in common. Like, I'm actually really shy in real life. And there's one moment where Dorguy jokes about everyone dying, and Mally can't tell he's joking and starts crying. Sometimes the exact same thing happens with me and my older brother. The reason Mally tricked John into putting on the puppet was, I think, to avoid elimination. Her goal was killing John, and instead Ava died. If John replaces Ava, then no one needs to be voted off. I think that's why, but I could be wrong. And Mally says she regrets tricking John, so yeah. She also claims to have done other bad things in the past, but it's unknown when. We've done Mally, so now Door Guy. Door Guy is another of my favorites. He's the comic relief character. He's a sassy bad boy. Also pretended to have a crush on Mally. But in the episode where he got drunk, it is revealed that he slowly developed a real crush on her. He tries to impress Mally a lot, but it doesn't work because she's too worried about, well, you know, her entire planet being destroyed. I also really enjoyed Door Guy's death. Even though he was funny and I liked him, his death was a cool scene. But I don't want to spoil it. Oh wait, I already did. Whatever. Next, Sarah. Sarah created Ponder, and it's her fault all this is happening. He forces her to compete in every season of the Puppet Games, even if she already died. Sarah tries to warn everybody about Ponder, but no one cares. Ponder intentionally gives Sarah less screen time than everyone else to make people not care about her. And it works. She wasn't my favorite. But one of my favorites was Sarah's doppelgangster, Cold. Sarah didn't live the best childhood, and her misguidance resulted in her becoming a, Yandere? I can't read this. Basically, she kills people so she can get to her crush, John. And when John didn't like her back, she killed him. I normally don't like yandere girls. In fact, you could say I want to punch them in the face. But the thing that separates Sarah from the others is that she doesn't want to be a killer. She wants to stop, but can't. I really wanted to see her get redeemed, but instead she just turns into a vampire thing and dies. Next up, Callie. A lot of Stowell fans are gonna hate me for this, but I didn't care for this version of Callie. It's like Halogen. In her series, she was a great character, but in Puppet Game, I don't like her. I thought she was too overpowered. Ponder is already overpowered, so Callie just felt unnecessary. Callie's backstory will take too long, so here's a summary. Parasites infest people, government experiments on infected people because they want to make weapons. One subject, Callie, teams up with the boy, John, and they go on the run from the government. That's design in a nutshell. There is one moment where it's revealed Callie wants to save everyone in her world, even the people who tortured her. I thought that was really interesting, but then Sarah says Callie lied about all that. Okay. What? Now Sketch. Sketch, I thought, was really annoying. She tries too hard to be likable and it comes off as obnoxious. But I feel like that is what made her death the saddest. It was before one of the rounds and the votes were being collected. I remember hoping she'd get voted off, and she did. I was happy at first, but then Sketch spoke those very heartbreaking words. What did I do wrong? It is then revealed that the reason why she tries so hard to be likable is because all her life people treated her like a freak. Then Sketch announces to her entire world that the identity of her mom, since only mimics can give birth to other mimics. Never. Ponder tells everyone if they kill Sketch's mother, he'll let the rest of the planet live. And that everything they do to Sketch's mom, he'll do to Sketch. And he tells them to save her head for last, because that's the only way to kill a shapeshifter. Entire crowds of people began rushing to her house, grabbing whatever they could use as a weapon. Ponder turned to the other contestants and said, "I'm still going to blow them all to hell." This single moment is one of the main reasons I wanted to make this video. It makes me feel sad for a character I hated 2 minutes ago. One of the other main reasons I wanted to make this video was Ponder himself. Ponder is legitimately one of my favorite villains. One moment he's telling a bad pun, the next he's killing a hostage. Other villains are working towards their goal, whereas Ponder can complete it whenever he wants. You see, he splices planets so he can steal their matter and use it to make more clones of himself. So he can just blow up any world he wants, whenever he wants, and be done with it. But instead, he chooses to put people through his sick contest just because, well, it's fun. Ponder looks cool and has some cool powers, but he doesn't have a great motivation. But I think with a villain like him, you don't really need one. Oh, and Ponder is based on this thing. But wait, the greatest plot twist of all. Liam announced that the series was made as a joke. He accidentally made a masterpiece. I do actually really like it. It's my favorite of the Scary Story series. He also said that there's going to be a video game about it, but it got canceled. There's only like one like concept art made, and it wasn't even finished. If you don't feel like spending hours of your life watching a series I just spoiled, then go check out Liam's latest work, Internecion Cube. Did I pronounced that right? Link in the description. It's actually based off design, and I've thought about making a video comparing them. But until then, farewell, true believers.